Hi everyone, welcome to TechFluent Season 3 with Mr. MV Karan. Hi Karan, welcome to TechFluent Season 3.
Hi, thank you for having me here.
First, I'd like you to introduce yourself to the audience.
Great. I'm Karan, and I'm the Director for International Developer Relations at GitHub. So, my team and I work on supporting developers and developer ecosystems across the world, be it on how best they can use GitHub or how they can work very well in the open source ecosystem, or just generally how they can improve their software development skills, etc.
Great. So, with the session getting over early, there are a lot of questions that students had. We have curated few of those which are most important and would help students.
Mhm.
Let's start with that.
Sure.
What key skills and experience do you recommend students develop if they aspire to work in developer relations, particularly at leading platforms like GitHub?
That's an interesting question, because developer relations as a profession, and also for all of us, right? It's not something that's, that's like a set profession that, okay, I finish my, 11th, 12th, after that I do a degree and then I get into developer relations, right? It's a very, very niche kind of a profession, because of which one of the things I would advise for many students who are interested in this area is to be a very good developer first, because most of the times, right, people forget that developer being a good developer is essentially the first word of developer relations. So you need to have some good experience as an engineer, work in an organization and a team, and understand really and get into the mindset of what it is to be a developer. What are the pain points, what is it that they like, how does collaboration work, how do you work in an organization, etc. And slowly over time, if you figure out that, okay, I also have a passion not just for writing code and developing, but I also want to share that with others and help them be successful, I think that's an underlining factor to be a very good developer relations professional. Most of the developer relation professionals that you see in the world today, wherever they might work, GitHub, Microsoft, or any of those big organizations, right, they did not start off, including me, start off the career as a developer relations professional. We all were developers, we all were engineers trying to just help others, be it by writing some blogs, sharing some learnings, sharing some tips and tricks on how best you can accomplish this, or just going and presenting at events and conferences, etc. And then it was a passion that grew, that okay, let's help other developers as well, because we are developers and we can very easily communicate saying that no, this is probably not the right way to do it, you can try this way, etc. So my advice really is for students, be a very good developer first, get into the mindset of what it is to be a developer, and each developer in a different setting, be it in a hobby project or be it in a startup or an enterprise services industry, product industry, has very different challenges and mindset. Try to experience as much of that as possible before you think about pursuing a career like developer relations.
If I would like to summarize it, you need to be in those shoes
Yes,
to walk in the same level.
absolutely,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you. How has contributing to open source projects influenced your career, and how can students leverage open source contributions to enhance their own career prospects?
That's a good question. So, open source is something which I have been very passionate about, and I'm guessing that this is true for many people who get down the path of open source. Is that they begin by trying to scratch their own itch, metaphorically, where they want to kind of solve a problem that they themselves are facing, and they say that, okay, this is open source and this project is available, so let me just go try and fix that. And instead of fixing it for myself, let me just go and try and fix it for the whole project itself, so that it becomes easier for anyone else who are using it. And it was the same thing for me. I still remember that one of the first contributions I did was I was using the binary for something, and then I realized that, oh, there is this one thing which is missing, because of which I'm not able to use it. So let me just go create a pull request and contribute back to make it happen, right? um, I think many different kind of open source projects which are there today started by solving a problem which the maintainers themselves were facing, or something which they saw a need for and then said that why not, let's build it in open source, etc. So I think one of the very strong aspects of open source and collaborating and working in open source is really the community behind it. I often say this, that open source is not just about software or project, it's about the culture, because you are working with so many different other developers and contributors across the world, across time zones. You don't know what are their backgrounds, how they communicate. You learn so much by participating in open source, which you probably could not even do as much in an organization, however big it is, right? So you understand that culture of working with people, and you also kind of get to create an impact for the project that you're working on as well. So these are just couple of benefits, but the real true joy and passion is also, of course, in just writing software which can be used by so many people. There are multiple programs out over there, but my main advice for a whole lot of students is, whenever you're using any of softwares or packages which you think are open source, and you figure out that if only this was existed, don't wait for someone else to do it. You yourself go and create the change that you want to be.
You answered one of the questions which, deliberately I used to go to students and answer what project to do. And you answered it at the end of it rightly. Look at the problem that you're facing and pick up and solve it in an open source project, and that's your project.
Absolutely.
Great,
Absolutely.
great. What strategies did you use early in your career to build a strong professional network with the tech community? And how can students effectively do the same?
So early on, I think one of the things that has helped me very much is that I've been very curious. I've been very inquisitive. So I used to ask a lot of questions, be it in the classroom or be it even outside. Um, Everything I used to think about as to why is it this way, or why is it probably not that way, etc. So I used to be very curious and wanted to learn how this happens or how that happens, etc. And what I ended up doing was I spent quite a lot of time on online forums and things like that, trying to understand different pieces. I used to go at small events or conferences, etc., trying to learn how something works. And then suddenly, if there's a discussion happening at conferences, usually during like a lunchtime or something, I just used to go join, learn what's happening, and then suddenly just get connected, interactive, and learn, etc. So those are very, very, very organic ways, where I never really started off saying, okay, I want to build a network, but I just started off by being curious and inquisitive as to how things work. And the network usually, grows by itself when you are very open to it. And also, I think being open is very important. You can't be like, okay, I'm going to go this one conference or event, and then I'm going to forget all about it, right? You would have made some connections, talk to them, follow up, meet again, etc. And building this network either in the tech community or the business community pays off in the very long run. I remember that, for example, some of the people I work with today in the external ecosystem are people that I've built connects with more than a decade ago, just casually. And I was like, I know the right person to help with this, and kind of go back to it, right? So um, that's how it's helped me. And my advice is for many of the students is please go out over there, interact with people, either online or offline, whatever you're comfortable with. Be inquisitive, be curious, and ask questions and offer help. Be genuine. Don't just try to be someone who wants to take in everything but not give back anything.
Great, great. And I feel the word that you have used has been used a lot. The best way is to go organic,
Yeah.
and those things last for long. Okay, now what career paths are available with developer relations, and how students can identify which specific roles might align with their strengths and interests? Half of it you have answered, being the developer shoes.
Yeah.
Then moving ahead, what they need to look at.
Yeah. So developer relations as a function, right, has various implications and meanings for different organizations. Just because who a developer is varies for an organization, and what kind of relations they want to build with these developers and help them or get out of it varies. Yeah. So because of that, most of the times developer relations as a function is kind of an intersection between product, between engineering, between customer success, between marketing, between sales, and a whole lot of different things, right? So what it could mean for each organization is different. What I would suggest is that for people who are interested in this as a function, um, to kind of look at what developer relation means for each of an organization and what are the different kind of teams that are available over there. Now, for some example, is that if you are really interested in writing content, um, it might be helpful for you to be a part of a developer relations team which is creating, say, written content or documentation. If you're interested in engineering to support developers, you might want to look at developer relation teams which are, say, building SDKs or libraries or developer docs, etc. If you're interested in really understanding how developers are using and get that feedback from people and share it with your product team to help give them kind of a ear on the grounds, then you might choose something which is at the intersection of product and engineering, etc. Right? So there are of multiple of these things, but usually, because of these different skill sets that developer relation professionals either come with or develop over time, they most often also go into different arenas of a technology company. Many of them, are able to do really well in product. Some of them move into engineering, some of them move into marketing, some of them into customer support success, etc. Because you would end up inculcating skill sets that are needed for all of these things.
It encompasses everything that is there in an organization, be it development, be it customer relation, be it
Yeah,
feedback. So you need to develop those skills and over the years and
right.
then encompass it and move it forward.
Absolutely.
Great. How important is it for a student to develop a personal brand in the tech industry, and what steps should they take to establish one?
Right. Um, Now, I think that there's a slight line of difference over here between building a personal brand versus building a personal portfolio. Yeah.
Good one.
So what I would encourage for people is to build a really good personal portfolio, because the brand will follow. So to focus on building a really good personal portfolio which showcases your work, which showcases what you are building in terms of software or in terms of your understanding of technology. And that doesn't just have to be building software and open source, but it could be, like how I said, writing content about the problem that you encountered and how you solved it. Or it could be about creating a video showcasing how you can solve something and how you did it, right? So I think the very important thing is to build a personal portfolio, because in this age of technology and software, right, uh, it's very, very difficult for someone to assess the levels of skills when it comes to software engineering if you don't showcase it. It's not something which I'm carrying in my pocket and then say, here is the code, right? It's something which has to be available out over there, or me somehow expressing that, this is how is my depth when it comes to engineering and software development, because that is what will help you with better prospects of building credibility with your peers. It will help you get a whole lot more better in the recruitment scene. It will help you also build respect among those technologies and those technology communities, etc. And all of that is what will help you build that brand.
I like the perspective and the way you put it out. And you backflipped the question in means of football, but in a brilliant manner. Thank you for that perspective. And I never saw it in that perspective, but now I have the same one. Now this one is more important in the terms because this is something which I ask students to do a lot.
Mhm.
They miss out it on a lot, and you are the right person to answer this. As someone who actively contributes to GitHub, what are some effective ways for students to showcase their GitHub portfolios to potential employers?
Great question. So there are a few obvious things, all right, that any student or developer needs to think about, and it's all about what you land or what people see when they go to github.com/ whatever is your username, right? Now, I want to give a small analogy over here. where um, you know Dr. Abdul Kalam used to say that you go take a piece of paper and write in it what is it that you want to be known as, and keep it with you and aim towards being that. With that as an analogy, right, if someone opens your GitHub profile and they land on that profile page, right, think about what is it that a potential employer or someone wants you to be seen for, and highlight that. So if you want to be seen as someone who is like really good in front end development or this specific technology, highlight that. So a few key, tips, so per se, is that one, have a profile readme. So there is a feature called as profile readme, where you can add a readme.md in a special repo which is named after your username itself, and put a readme.md over there, which acts almost like your cover page of everything. Second is, make sure that some of your best work which you have put it out over there in open source, either started it as open source or published it, is pinned as a repository there. So if there are 2 or 3 repositories, make sure that that is your best work that you have pinned, because not every recruiter or an engineering manager would probably go and look at all of your repositories. They'll see what are the pinned repositories, etc. So make sure that is something which is visible. And on your readme.md as well, make sure that whatever technologies and frameworks you are really good at is what is highlighted. One of the issues that I see is that in the chance that someone can land a role with this specific language or that specific framework, they end up writing everything. Right from saying that I know assembly to I know deep learning and AI ML, right? Which actually confuses people as to what are you good at. If you've written everything, it means you are probably not good at anything. There is one thing which I've said in my previous interview, where I flipped around the old saying, say that be a jack of all trades, but a master of one. Not a master of none.
None.
Be a master of one as to what you are really good at. So highlight that. Say that I am good at this, and these are the technologies I'm really good at. Ask anything, and I'll be able to answer. And here is my supporting work to showcase that I'm
Good
really
at that.
good at it. So highlighting these key things, right, is very important, so that then a potential recruiter or an engineering manager or even your peer, if they want to know what you're up to and what you're working on, can go and then look at your work, see what you're working on, potentially even contribute as well.
So last is about your experience. So how did you have this experience of being here at TechFluent Season 3 at Lovely Professional University and your first time to Punjab? So how would you rate that?
So it's been really great. I have because of my work, I've traveled to various different places in the country as well as outside. But I'm still surprised that till now I haven't been to Punjab yet. But thanks to LPU for the opportunity, so that I can come over here, experience the amazing city, the hospitality, the culture, definitely the food, and also the people over here. Visiting lovely professional university has been great. To be honest, I've only heard about it, seen it on television, and also known about many of the things, but I never really expected to be here any day. So thanks for TechFluence for bringing me here, and also looking at the overall campus and the people, understanding the programs, the history of some of these things, and also all of the amazing students. I think there's so much of enthusiasm among students to build and to create and to do a whole lot more. So I would, be really happy to see all of these students achieve more, grow bigger, grow greater, and contribute to the overall technology ecosystem in our country itself. Because one of the things about open source is that it has democratized access to technology and made it easier for anyone, whether they are sitting here in LPU or they're sitting in the somewhere in the US or somewhere in India or anywhere else, can be on the same level playing ground if they are skilled enough,
Skilled enough.
right? So what that would mean is that every one of the student out over here has the potential to bring that change for the entire ecosystem, which I would love to see.
You answered the motto of TechFluence 3 in your experience sharing: learn, connect, and grow.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you for being a part of TechFluence 3 and taking our time to be here at Lubbock University for TechFluence 3.
Thank you so much, and so great to be here.